Coach will begin with a short statement, and then we'll go to questions. Coach, whenever you're ready.
First of all, just what a game, the Virginia Tech game. Fabulous win for the players, the community, the administration. Excited about that win, there's no doubt about it. And there's always a good, warm, fuzzy feeling about doing something like that. But we have a tough opponent coming up in Boston College. They're the number 6 ranked defense in the country. Offensively, they have some outstanding football players transfer from Kentucky that threw for over 5,000 yards. One of their wide receivers was the quarterback last year that played in the game against us. And then they have one of the biggest tailbacks we've ever played against, which is going to be very, very difficult to tackle. They're big, they're tough, they're physical, and we want to make sure we give them all the respect that they're due. So, questions?
John, front row.
Those kumbaya meetings that you were talking about, what exactly took place in those meetings and what prompted those? Was it something that you saw at Wake Forest or in the weeks leading up?
Just private discussions between me and the team, and when we see something, we like to put a light on it, as we say, inside of our football team. So thought we saw something, we wanted to put a light on it.
Was it something more on the field or off the field?
It's stuff that I want to keep internal with the football team.
Other questions? Chris and then Steven.
So I've talked to you about your coaching influences. What are your public speaking influences? Because that post-game speech was pretty good.
That's a good question. I really don't even enjoy public speaking. I've always been out front. I've always done things. I've always been in leadership roles. I was in a lot of ROTC stuff, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, growing up, team captains on a lot of different sports teams, stuff like that.
You just kind of forced, just naturally kind of came about it versus trying to emulate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Steven?
The kind of kumbaya meetings, is it like one-on-one with you and players? Is it everyone in the room kind of together? What was like the format of those?
Kind of like everybody in the room together.
I know when Dick Tomey at Hawaii did something, I don't know if it's similar to that at the start of the year where he'd have all the players in. Did you draw that from that, or is this something that was a little different?
The thing with Coach Tomey was a fabulous thing. I was a part of that as a player and as a coach. It is extremely intense when you do something like that, and ours was not that intense, although there was intensity.
Other questions? Tomera.
Dino, what have you, kind of seen from Davon stepping up at the safety position? What has he improved on specifically? What has he brought to the secondary?
I'm glad you brought that up. Davon was our defensive player of the game. Our offensive player of the game was Dungy. Our special teams player of the game was George Morris. The number 19 is amazing. You talk about someone who's not very large in stature, but you open him up and he's got the biggest heart in the room. And you see the way that he throws his body around on the football field, absolutely unselfishly, with no regard towards his own well-being. And it brings life, it breathes energy to the defense and to this football team. When someone's willing to be that unselfish and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, the right way, you can't help but root for him. And I'm a big 19 fan.
Joey?
Was there anything that you said or did differently last week for the defense? Because they just seemed to play, another level up on Saturday.
That goes to Coach Ward and the defensive coaches. They do a fabulous job. The one thing that we took away from the Wake Forest games is I apologize to the defense because I thought they played more than well enough for us to win the game. And it's the point total that we were held to against Wake Forest was the lowest point total we've ever had since I've been a head football coach. And it wasn't 9 points, it was 7. The offense only scored 7. And I just apologized to them the day after the game. I said, it's not like that, that's not fair. And I told the offense that that's not fair. So that was the biggest conversation we had with them. The rest of that credit goes to the defensive coordinator and the defensive staff.
Matt?
Coach, were you aware a camera was rolling during that post-game locker room speech? speech, and were you surprised by the feedback that it got, and how big it got on national TV?
You know, guys, that's probably like the only glimpse you're going to get of us in the locker room. I don't like sharing family things. That's something that we've been doing for a long time, and it's very personal with me, and it's something that's a reward for the guys in the locker room. Okay, did I know a camera was on? Yes, I knew there was a camera in there, and then I forgot. Okay, but that's what we do, and I'm glad if you guys liked it. I'm glad you got an opportunity to see it. Better hold on to it. You better hit save. You might be watching it for a while, rewatching it. So that's just what we do.
In the back.
Coach, shifting gears to Boston College, they bring again another tough defense, just like Virginia Tech did. What do you guys have to do offensively to make sure that you replicate the success you had last week?
Not get the big head. Understand that it's just one win, and treat this football team, the Boston College football team, with respect. Respect your opponent, and go back out and go back to work. You know, all we proved so far is that we're occasionally great, and what I want this football team to be is consistently good. It bothers me that we're not consistently good, and that's what we're striving for. And we may get there this year, we may not, but that's where we're heading, to be consistently good.
Time for 2 more questions. John?
You know, you often talk about belief without evidence. There have been times this year you've said the players didn't kind of realize how close they were to sort of turning that edge. The Virginia Tech win, just how important was that, not only for this season, but kind of as a piece of evidence for the future and sort of direction?
You know, I think it was very important. It's a fabulous question. I think it really starts with a lot of areas. It starts with the administration. It starts with the university. It starts with the community. It starts with you guys in the media. You got something to hang your hat on. Now you've got to decide, are you going to be nice or are you going to be mean? You've got something to hang your hat on, the line's drawn, you can go on one train or you can go on the other. But that's like everyone, even the people in the room. On every football team, there's people that want to believe, and then there's naysayers. It's human nature. Okay, we're all human. So this win, okay, lets everyone knows that we can get there. Okay, regardless of what department or what community you're living in. And now you just have to decide which side you want to be on and wait for the results.
Final question? Tomorrow.
Dino, most of the season it looked like when you guys were playing 4 wide receiver sets with 2 to each side, it'd be Amba with Irv on the inside on one side, and then Steve and Briz on the other. And in the first half against Virginia Tech, that looked like it changed. Briz was playing on the inside of Amba. Is that something? And he had 7 catches for 120 in that first half. Is that something we could see more of down the road, or is that just like a 1-half switch kind of?
It's something that you can see more of down the road. We have the ability to move any of our receivers anytime we want to. That's the flexibility of the offense. So, you know, if it's to our advantage to do so, we will. If we do not feel like it's an advantage, it's extra learning. And with more learning comes more mistakes. And when you're trying to become more consistent, the thing that you want is less mistakes, and you just want people executing. So there's always a balance of whether you want to open up a new formation or do you want to keep the formations the same and get a higher score on the test, so to speak, without having an opportunity to miss a big question. And the big question could be a catch or a check in the 3rd or 4th quarter that might decide the game. Are you with me? Okay. That it? Thank you.